Welcome to Daybreak. We are moving into part 2 of our series, Prepare for Your Role. Our topic today is Embrace Your Design. I saw a video titled the other day, Why is God Using Nobodies? And because of who I know this speaker to be, I knew he was meaning about the end times, to tell about the end times. I wasn't able to watch the video, but I wanted to ponder that question because it was a very good question. Why is God raising up nobodies to tell what's going on? You know, we discussed in the last session that a lot of the pastors are being silent about it. So it's the sheep having to rise up and tell others what's going on. But you know, if you look in history, if you look through the scriptures, God often used nobodies. Maybe even more often than not used nobodies. Moses was a nobody who became a somebody who had to become a nobody again in order for God to use him. Then there was Gideon. He would describe himself as a nobody from the tribe of nobodies, and yet God used him in such a mighty way. There was Ruth, a nobody Moabitess who became King David's great-grandmother, and we know Jesus came from that line. Then there was David. He was a nobody shepherd who just happened to be sent in to feed somebodies, these soldiers, these brothers of his. He was sent to give them some lunch. And guess who ended up being the one who slayed the giant? We know that's David. A nobody shepherd became the one who slayed the giant. Then there's, of course, Mary. Mary was a nobody whose body hosted the Savior. That is a beautiful thought. She was a nobody. The list can go on and on. A couple of nobodies we can consider would be Peter and John and their encounter at the temple with the beggar. They are prime examples of nobodies who've become somebodies because of the somebody that they've kept company with. In the book of Acts, I'm looking at Acts 3 and 4. This is where the lame man was healed, where they told him to get up and walk. And so in 4, this is where they're still talking to the people at the temple, and the religious leaders come. Well, in this segment, it says that 5,000 people were saved. So obviously what they were saying was just anointed and just astounding the people. Yet the religious leaders were grumbling about what they were hearing. And they asked the question about, well, who are these men to be doing this? And here's the answer. I love this answer. Now, as they observed the confidence of Peter and John and understood that they were uneducated and untrained men, they were amazed and began to recognize them as having been with Jesus. There's probably no better description of the things that I do than the fact that I've been with Jesus. I would honestly say this, that I have zero education, I have zero training or qualification for me to write or do what I do. That's fiction writing, nonfiction writing. I've never been trained in this. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know that I could write until I was in my early 30s. I read a Christian fiction book. I thought, hey, I can do that. And I just started writing. I could be embarrassed on an earthly level of my lack of qualifications or education for what I do. But I've been with Jesus. I'm just required to tell what I know. I'm a witness and I'm a messenger of the things that he's done in my life. And I'm not talking about experiences and I've had some major experience. No, I've had transformation. I'm not a teacher. I don't have that spiritual gift. Can I teach? I can. I can do other things that are not my area of giftedness. I'm great in administration, yet I do not feel I have the gift of administration for church service. I use it for my little ministry, for my, to help in my little business, but I do not have that gift. So when I say I'm not a teacher, I believe my gift would be edification. I love to encourage people. I love to especially encourage people and nudge them closer to Jesus. I want to see them become the best version of themselves because they're with him. That's the only way we become our true selves, is by spending that time with him and allowing him to show us who he has made us to be. That's what this session will be about you embrace the design, who God made you to be, who the potter has shaped you uniquely to be. You've been lied to over the years in many ways, I'm sure, whether that be by other people or maybe you've lied to yourself, where you're saying that your gift isn't good enough. What you can do doesn't matter in the kingdom. That's a lie. It's a lie from yourself sometimes and a lie from the enemy very often. So we're going to go into that session. What we'll do at the end, of the written portion, I'm going to invite a guest in. Her name is Kim. When COVID happened, and the small groups were still shut down, churches weren't open, I just had this pain in my heart. I kept thinking about the scattered sheep. That was the term that came to mind often. So I started a little Zoom video group, and at the time I had Facebook. I don't have that now because it was hijacked. And you know what? I don't need it. I don't need social media. I can do this through other means. And so I invited people to join. Well, a longtime reader from Texas. When I put it out there, she followed my Facebook page and she said, "Hey, I want to join." Didn't know her, had no clue. When, as a matter of fact, I was a little nervous because her first week I was thinking, should I know her? Is this somebody that maybe I connected with a friend? No, she was just a reader and connected with me that way and joined. It was like the story of David and Jonathan, the account of their friendship, this becoming knit together, and how God knit their hearts and souls together. I can't remember, it's heart or soul, I'd have to look it up, but how he knit them together. And that's been us. We became fast friends through this group. I asked her to lead a small group because she's so grounded in the Word. She so absolutely knows the Lord and loves the Lord and has a heart to serve Him. And so we became fast friends. And so that's when I was seeing what was going on, and I was telling her. She's got some great stories that we'll share about her lifelong fear of the rapture and how all of this has just really changed her belief in what she's seeing coming. But so I started sharing with her and started just inviting her into some things I was doing. Hey, will you watch a video? Hey, will you read this? Because she's just great at that. So we're going to talk later about how she's learned to embrace her design through this past year and a half that we've become friends. And let me say, when I say friends, we've become sisters. Well beyond friends, we've become sisters. And she's now working for my little publishing company in a role that in a role that I couldn't do myself. So God has provided. But she'll share with you how the enemy and she herself lied to herself for so many years about who she is and what she was qualified to do. I can't wait for that. So I want you to come out of this session knowing this, that God has a plan for you. You've talked about, yes, you have a role, but you also have a specific way that you'll meet this role, and it's okay to be who you are. It's more than okay. It really is. It's expected of the Lord that you would embrace your design. So we'll see you for the next video at the end of the written portion. Thanks.